Hey guys, Rodney Miller here with Hard Money Partner. I want to talk to you today about one of my favorite subjects. You probably heard of it. It's called compound interest. You probably heard the term compound interest, but if you don't really understand the power of it, you won't be obsessed with it. So I'm going to try to explain that to you today because I'm obsessed with compound interest. That's how, when I learned about, I always knew about it, but when I really looked at it, it drives all my decisions on what I'm going to put my money to work at doing. It's just changed the whole dynamic of how I invest in real estate. So let's take a famous quote from Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." So if Albert Einstein, one of the smartest guys in the world, says it's the eighth wonder of the world, I'd say I'd take his word for it. It's a pretty big deal. So this all started when I was a little kid. My father, I still remember, sat on the edge of my bed. I was about to go to bed, and he had read us some kind of financial book. He really planted the seed. And he said, "Rodney, what would you rather have? I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. I don't know. What would you rather have, Rodney? Would you rather have $1 million today, or would you rather have 1 penny today, but it's going to double every day for 30 days? And you get that money at the end. What would you rather have?" Well, of course, I'm a kid. I said, penny doubling every day, no big deal. I want the $1 million. And he said, "Well, what if I told you that a penny doubling every day, 1 penny to 2 pennies, 2 pennies to 4 pennies, 4 pennies to 8 pennies. What if I told you that at the end of that 30 days, you would have over $5 million? My mind was blown. I was like, there's no way a penny doubling for 30 days is going to turn into over $5 million. But when you do the math, it works. It's just crazy stuff. So basically understanding that, you really change, when you really start looking at it, really changes the way you look at investments. And so the first part of that is you've got to get a good return on your money, no matter what you're doing, whether you're active or passive. And it's got to be fairly consistent. And the good thing about real estate investing is that it is consistent. Once you learn how to do it, you can consistently gauge your returns and get a pretty consistent return. And if you're an active real estate investor, people that are watching this that aren't in real estate, have been investing in the stock market for decades or years, and your traditional forms of investments, they're not going to believe this, and I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. But if you're a real estate investor and you are getting a 15% annualized return on your money consistently, then you're doing something wrong. You should be able to invest your money actively or passively and get a 15% annualized return fairly consistently and fairly safely. Just for an example, like our Trident multifamily fund, we've done, we invest in multifamily properties. We raise capital from other people, and then we all go in on a deal. We fix it up, and then we sell it a few years later, and everybody gets paid off. But we've never done a deal less than 15%. Now, some have been 40% annualized deals. So in real estate investing, 50% is not a big deal. Rentals well exceed 15% if you buy right. Fix and flip property, stuff like that, are going to exceed the 15% rule. That's not a big deal. And so that drives me to the next topic, is the law of 72. When I make investments, I go by the law of 72, which says you take the return rate that you're going to get on something, you expect to get on something, you divide 72 by that return, and that's going to tell you how many years it's going to take you to double your money. So if you can get a consistent 15% annualized return and you divide that into 72, you can double your money in 4.8 years. If you can consistently get 50% return, you can double your money every 4.8 years. So if you take $100,000 and you apply this principle to it, I think I did this at 14.85% or whatever. But if you start off with $100,000 year one, at the end of year one, you're going to have 114, then 2, you're going to have 132, 3, you're going to have 151, 4, you're going to have 174, and in year 5, you're going to have $200,000. So you double your money from $1 to $200,000 in just under 5 years using that principle. And that's if you really, and that's also if you wait till the end of the year to reinvest that money. If you invest that money while you're making it monthly, and it goes right back into deals, and you can keep that money working for you, that 4.8 years shrinks down because you're making money off that money, and that money's not sitting in the bank. So basically the rule of thumb here is money sitting in the bank is not money working for you. So as you make more money, it becomes more of a struggle to keep your money placed. And that's when you deal with people with lots of money, that's their number one issue. I can't find enough deals to keep my money working, and I don't want it in a bank account because I've got to compound that money and I've got to roll it from one deal to another, and I can't send a bank account. So, and the more money I accumulate, the harder it is to keep that money working, especially if you're an active investor. You almost can't do enough deals. This is going to be a monster that's going to really get bigger than you. You have to find a way to keep that money working. And usually it's passive deals, going into other people's deals passively to take that extra money. So you're actively working to make money to put into passive deals. But the law of 72 is a big one. When you invest your money, if you can't double your money in 5 years, then you're doing something wrong, especially if you're in real estate. You really should reevaluate what you're doing. So that's kind of my take on compound interest. I love it. When you really understand it, it will shape the way that you invest in deals, provided you have a tool that you can control, like real estate, to invest in deals. I mean, if you give your money to stockbrokers, or if you just invest in mutual funds, you really have no control, and this really won't mean much to you. You'll take what they give you, and hopefully you'll have some good years, some bad years, or whatever. But if you truly control your own finances and control your investments, you can really live by this. So I hope this helps. I hope you understand compound interest a little more, gets you a little more excited about it. It's kind of a nerdy subject, but it's what really rich people understand, and they use these tools, and they guide their guiding principles on how they invest. It's not willy-nilly. It's how we're going to double our money, and how fast can we double our money, and everything's looked through that prism of how fast will my money double. Thanks, everybody. We made lots of loans this month, and we're always looking for more people to partner with. Hard Money Partner, please call me if you have a loan you want us to look at. We loan in the whole state of Oklahoma. We'll come to you, look at your deal. Just, look forward to hearing from you. If you ever want to reach out, have a cup of coffee. If you're in the Oklahoma City metro area, you live here, let's go grab a cup of coffee and talk real estate. Love to meet up with you and meet you in person. My cell phone is 405-204-1715. Rodney Miller, Hard Money Partner.